you're welcome back again in this second session. Thank you for staying with us on Smart 24 Television, the only television that informs and teaches. And this matter we are looking at, our discussion, focusing on how best we can utilize the existing system of governance, that is decentralized local governance, to gear towards economic development. And we are still with our guests once again. As I welcome you, we have Honorable Ojala Martin Mapinduzi. He is the Member of Parliament, Badege Laibi Division in Gulu City, and is the chairperson, parliamentary chairperson, Local Government Public Accounts Committee. And together we are with also Honorable Banyenzachi. I always refer him Tunguka, all the way from Kigezi. And he is also the former Member of Parliament of Rwanda West, and yet has done also great works, but also recall he was a former minister in the President's office, State Minister for Economic Monitoring. To be with these guests, it is not by accident, it is deliberate, and so far we have enjoyed a number of their insightful statements that are intending to shape the kind of development we would like to achieve. Before we went for the second session, to the break, we were looking at a number of issues at hand. And it looks to be, some are controversial, we may not finish them tonight. You will have 8 minutes, you will have also 8 minutes before we close our talk show. But we realize that we have a challenge that is not resolved. We are asking ourselves in our discussion, what's the problem? This should have been done rightly this way, yet it's not being done rightly this way. We would not have created many cities, to me, as I do make analysis, when we are not yet ready. Remember, as I draw to this for our discussion, there is always a policy analytical point of view that, including UPE, it is an old statement that it's always a vocabulary, it's a good program, but the way how the time of its implementation and the preparedness. While referring to that, I mean a lot. And we are saying it is good we are having cities, but it was a surprise here, Honorable Mapinduzi, when you gave us this statement, yet which is factual, not of your own making, that Gulu City is supposed to be operating as per the budget allocation at 3 billion for a financial year.
Actually, that is just local revenue.
Local revenue.
Not the overall budget.
The overall budget is how much, sir?
The overall budget is about 45 billion.
45 billion.
Yes, yes.
And now the location according
5 billion.
Yes.
the rightful information we have.
And the revenue correction
is just about 3 billion.
3 billion.
Projection.
And the allocation 491 billion.
So
491 million.
So total local revenue projection about 45 billion. Then total budget 45 billion, local revenue projection 3 billion, and then what Parliament.
So they correct 3 billion.
Yes.
But don't spend 45 billion.
So dear guests, I'm worried that Uganda, as you come up to again give you an analytical point of view, we must always be ready to chew what we are ready to do what?
What you can swallow.
To swallow. And we are, every other time we are talking about creation of these districts, of course, the other time, you remember, Honorable, you said that when you see a district and another district being created, and with another LC5 chairman, that's a hospital, that's a school. Please,
no.
Come on again.
That's what he said. Nowadays, I think, you know, how do I say it now?
If you say
you know, this you know, public officers, their appetite for spending and luxury, their car. The car is a moving hospital. You want to have a minister. You say car, don't say I was a minister one time.
I'm about to critique
but
you.
my car was a simple one, and I opted for a simple one.
Yes, sir.
But nowadays, there is a red car with so many people. There is a minister's car. There is a backup car. There is another. They sound like there are 4. A minister. Remember, we have 8. So the real actual sense, when you look at Nani, you will be having a whole hospital moving on the road.
I'm going to check in the
So the appetite.
Yes.
That's why I'm telling you, the appetite for expanding and consumption and wasteful expenditure in this country far surpasses the knowledge, the zeal, the call for creating wealth for the wananchi and this nation.
Honorable Mapinduzi, I'm coming to you after the good statement by
Yes,
him,
yes.
but I'm going to come back to him also. And I've said, I promised viewers, I'll go and cross check.
And when my brother,
yes.
my brother, Ramadan Ngobi, I think Ramadan Ngobi, I hope you are seeing me in this TV. Please curb that wasteful expenditure in government. We fought it together. You are there to do that wasteful expenditure, the appetite for spending.
When you're an MP, did you prohibit it seriously?
The bloated budgets that are bloated for spending should stop, so that we create wealth, so that we build roads, so that we build the industries, we build dams, we create jobs, we stop creating this border.
You will tell us, we'll come back to you, what's the problem, why it has
Now
not
I can tell you the problem right away. Of course, I'm telling you the problem is
why can't you read it and then I come
poor
back to
coordination. There is no coordination.
There's no coordination?
We talk one thing, we say we want to create wealth,
Okay, I've 5 minutes.
we want to have industries,
Yes, sir.
but you create wasteful pipes. Instead of creating industries, creating hospitals, building schools, you are having conduits for expenditure. And these conduits of expenditure are those kind of, those administrative units, bloated cabinet, bloated parliament, where my brother is, 500, we have the largest parliament in this
continent.
continent.
This region.
Even it may be we are competing
I'm not sure how
we are
many-
competing with China.
India, which is...
We are competing with India, which is 1 billion population. We are competing with China, 1.2 billion population, yet we are 45. But we are competing with them in size of presentation. So when you talk of these units, the local government units, it is the same. So, harmonization. We are not harmonized in terms of these plans of ours. Implementation. We don't implement. We have policies, good policies. We have good plans, national development plan, these strategic plans, plan 2040. But we do not implement our plans. Why? Because we have taken another way. The other thing is that lack of proper leadership is also very important. Actually, before I go, proper leadership. Huh?
And you specify the leadership because that's why...
Leadership, which
Yes,
is the leadership, which is...
Is it the...
Corrupt.
On cabinet,
wait a minute,
on
my
parliament,
brother.
on technical...
No. Corrupt leadership. These members of parliament don't touch money. He stops at receiving salary. He's not an implementer. So the conduit...
He makes laws which are...
Excuse
which
me,
determines that.
laws are not implementation. The conduit of corruption is through the implementation. Because that's where you collect the trillions of money. Now our budget could be 45 trillion for goods and services. So you have this corruption, you are losing money through procurement. Members of parliament don't procure. Actually, they are theirs. We can only take them on monitoring and oversight role.
Let me question you.
But when you talk about, let me give you figures, brother. When 10% of our public service and goods, like 10% of our budget, if you are talking about, say, 45 trillion, 10% of that money is a leakage through procurement. What's 10% of 4.5 trillion? You make your calculation and you tell me. So the issue of corruption, bad governance. This country would have been a first world if we didn't have these issues of corruption, if we did not have these leakages of public funds to end up in private pockets. If we had good plans, to exploit our mineral resource, if we had good plans to invest in our agriculture, agriculture is green gold, my brother. If we had good plans to invest in infrastructure, we put our money in infrastructure, we develop roads, we develop airports, we develop railway, we develop our water transport, then definitely those would be, and this would be arteries and the veins that would be feeding, powering the industries that we are talking about.
Thank you.
And there you would be creating you are going to have a rich, prosperous Uganda, because you have done the right investment, you have good governance, you have good administration, you have good plans, and you have good mission and good vision. Look at a country like United Arab Emirates. 40 years, Uganda was donating to United Arab Emirates. My good friend, our elder, Moses Ad, at one time when he was a Minister of Finance, he went with President General Idi Amin Dada, Field Marshal, Idi Amin Dada, to donate to United Arab Emirates. It was a poor country. It was a desert poor country. When they got their oil and used it prudently, go there. It's a different story.
So
go to Botswana.
During this time, have you not donated?
Go to Botswana. What do you have to donate? You are beggars.
That you have donated in
you are beggars. Excuse me.
Let me give you information.
Excuse me. You are not donating.
And also to
Excuse
Tanzania.
me. You are not donating. You are just beggars.
Uganda.
We are a begging country. Go to Botswana, where they have used their resource, diamonds, prudently. Go to Botswana, an African country.
Who is the root cause of this problem that cannot be removed? Let's receive you.
He told you.
Let's receive you.
You see, Doctor, don't refuse to listen. The Honorable Henry just told you that the number one problem is leadership. So if you want to know who is
because you are leader, so that's why I remain asking.
We are part of the problem.
Let me tell you this. You see, we need to accept that we have failed ourselves
to develop
as a country. And we are not going to run away from that. And the moment we begin to acknowledge that, then we can start to turn around things. There is a book written by a gentleman called Greg Mills. And this book is titled, Why Africa is Poor. This gentleman is from South Africa. And he says Africa is poor because we have made a choice.
Have made a choice.
Yes. But he goes on to say that much as we have made a choice, poverty is optional. We can choose to walk out of poverty once we decide as a country. And we know where the problem is coming from. Why should you design a very beautiful program? You begin to implement it. It's beginning to give good signs, and then the next day you abandon it away. You jump to something else that you completely never. You start something that is beginning to give a good signal. But because there are some selfish people who see opportunities in another direction, they confuse you, persuade. Exactly. So every time there is a new idea coming and other ideas are left unattended to, even the monies that had been put on those, nobody talks about it. So, and by the way, I have seen this. Even when we are designing new programs, we don't learn from past programs.
Let me give you information, brother.
Please, please.
You see, the reason why there is, the moment a good program is designed, no sooner has it started, and they siphon, those siphoners, they siphon the sap.
Before it is detected.
Before it is, after they siphon the sap, then they know that there is no more sap to siphon now. They create another one for new siphoning. Then they create another one. I
agree.
That is why we are having so many projects. You remember Parliament. We are having so many projects unfinished. we are even having so many projects which have been financed through loans, but they are not finished. But we are having new ones. Every day we are having a new one added in, because it is a conduit for siphoning the sap before it is detected.
So my take on this, you know, I'm not just reading from the books of lamentation.
Yes.
Okay?
These are facts.
These are facts.
You have 3 minutes and you tell us.
I believe in being solution oriented.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't want to just lament. But as long as there are people, who see opportunities of pulling out what is meant for Ugandans,
Siphoners.
the siphoners, as long as we still have them there, we are not going far.
Thank you.
So what are we going to do?
Yes, to enhance
What are
this
we
one
going to
be
do?
realized. Yes.
And for me, I'm not going to lose hope. Number one, this country is for all of us. We are not going to run away from it. We should not talk in fear, and we should not fear to talk.
Exactly.
So when you see us talk, we are not just being critical. We are not just lamenting. These are things we have to talk about. And the moment you begin to talk about it, people get to know
Do you
more.
promise us action as well?
Yes, well, I am a member of parliament. I'm a member of the 11th parliament.
Yes, sir.
By God's grace,
Let's hear him.
Praise the people.
by God's
It's
grace,
okay, let's hear
we
what
will
he
make a
says.
difference. And you see, I want to do things practically. If you are talking about driving out poverty, what are you doing individually? When you come to Gulu City, you see the things I'm doing. Okay? I don't know whether there are many leaders who are into. I know there are so many leaders who are into farming and all that. But I established an agricultural training center, which is accredited. And there are hundreds of young people that we train, and our model is different. It's
to
learners
improve
you
on
earn.
the household
Exactly.
income and fight poverty.
It's learners you earn. As you are
Yes.
learning, you are already earning. So that by the time you get out there, you have a completely different mindset, but you also have something to start with. So every Ugandan needs to fall their sleeves and start to do something meaningful. But also those charged with the responsibility of administering public funds, those who have the authority to provide services to the citizens have to be held accountable. And holding them accountable should not just be, because yes, I'm chair of this committee in parliament.
Yes.
Okay?
Public accounts
We are
committee.
starting tomorrow, and this is
Local
going to be our
government
first
Public
report
Accounts Committee, yes.
that the committee chair will handle. But I can tell you, I have looked at several reports. You find recommendations from previous leadership, from the committees, from
That's
previous reports. This amount should be recovered when you try to trace. Not recovered. A, B, C, D has stolen this and this and this. Money should be
Is
recovered.
it possible to help us
should be
recover that,
prosecuted. It's not
Honorable?
done.
Is it possible? Is it possible? I have my question for the viewers. Is it possible to recover that amount? And
Well-
even to tell Ugandans what is not recovered?
Again, I can tell you this.
Because we want to be hands-on.
And
now.
I'm telling you this.
Possible.
Let me give you this technicality. The 11th Parliament started last year in May. The moment we started, the committees were formed, and I became chair of the Local Government Public Accounts Committee.
Yes.
We found backlog. We found several reports. Auditor General's report for 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020. Do you know what happened? I read through all those reports. There were serious issues in the report. But we found a resolution of Parliament,
A resolution of Parliament. Yes.
that decided that the new Parliament, the 11th Parliament, should adopt those reports as they are. Without, all right? So all the previous reports, there was a resolution. Now, the challenge we had, the Honorable Segona, the Honorable Joel Senyonyi, and myself, we sat down and we said, look, how does Parliament say we are not going to look into those
If
reports?
someone is told that it's okay, it's told.
Okay, we need to. So we wrote to the Speaker. We actually wanted to bring a motion for Parliament to reconsider that resolution. so that we hold those people accountable. But because of the technicalities involved, in our rules of procedure, there is a time frame upon which you can revoke or reconsider resolutions of parliament of previous resolutions. So we found a technicality where the speaker said, look, it's way above, way beyond the period.
The recommendations.
Yes, the recommendations.
Why wouldn't you take them on?
No, actually, let me try to
the new
simplify
rules.
this. You know what happened? The Honorable Nandala Mafabi moved a motion around May, as
Last year.
May last year, before the 11th Parliament started. That was towards the tail of the 10th Parliament. Now, they said all the reports that had not been considered should be taken as they are.
Who moved that motion?
So that the 11th Parliament would start on a clean page. I do not know the intention.
Who moved that
But I
motion?
want to believe that probably there was something fishy. Okay? Because you are saying, even where there are queries, where there are abuses of funds, then should be taken as they are. Now, based on our rules of procedure, we are required within a particular period to have that resolution undone, or it has to go on. And because we took long, the process took long for us to have it, on the order paper. By the time it came, the speaker said, no, we are not going to undo this resolution. It's, already a position of parliament. So all those reports were left.
Honorable, I'm going to create time for you.
Powers.
You will come back again because I'm interested and Ugandans are interested in your information. And for sure, we appreciate for your submission. But it has left Ugandans worried. Wait 1 second as I try to see how we can conclude.
Information.
We have left Ugandans worried to see how this can come to the end. You will have your last word because of time. Just 1 minute last word. Yes, sir.
Add my own to
Yeah, we are concluding.
Parliament has powers to investigate any matter. So what the Honorable Mapinduzi is saying, it's very difficult to convince me who have been in that parliament for 15 years and who have been following these parliamentary proceedings. Anyway, you do not even to look at that resolution. You have the power, even your committee has the power, not even to rescind, to investigate any matter. So it's a matter of saying, what is this agency? NADS. You can investigate NADS retrospectively for the last.
So they should not intimidate you, Honorable.
So you have all that.
Yes.
So anyway, what did you want me to say?
You are saying your last word to the viewers.
Sorry for this interruption. I agree with you, fully agree with you, Honorable Minister.
You have to accept us.
We have to, one, abide by the provisions of the rules of
that
is one.
Please don't tell me rules. You are the same person who were suspending rules. You sit and suspend rules.
Let me finish, sir.
So what rules are you talking about?
Let me finish. Let me tell you this.
Yes, you conclude. What
rules are you talking about?
Because of time. Honorable,
let me
no, I know what I'm talking about.
We will talk about this after our
Which rules?
You see, my
it's
elder,
okay. We
when
shall
you
talk
don't
about
allow
this
me
after.
to finish,
Okay,
you don't get the point.
Kindly conclude and
Let
say
me finish.
to conclude
Yes. So I was telling you
Allow me to conclude,
that
please.
we needed to deal with that technicality, but also we needed to look at another option that would allow us proceed without, because there are also implications. So what we did, actually, when we found out that we could not, when we found out that we could not undo that resolution, we then went to use Rule 156, which allows a committee of parliament to assess and evaluate activities of government. So still we found a way.
Thank you, Honorable.
Right? So now why are you dilly-dallying? You just go for that one, hit the nail on the head.
Thank you, Honorable.
There's no excuse.
Thank you, Honorable Banyezachi. Just to say the last word to the viewers.
I'm very grateful. I have enjoyed this. I wish you
will have another time.
Yes. And
just tell me, I will great time because this man has a lot to say.
Yeah, he has a lot to say. But I also wanted to find out from you, were you raising some of these things when you were still
in man. At one time they fired me. I was a vice chairman of the budget committee.
Then thank you and keep that.
When I was the vice chairperson, I challenged this kind of stuff that you are talking about. They fired me because I was raising fire, yet I was vice chairperson.
He will tell you
And then I
after.
told
He will
them,
tell you after. Yes.
I could have gone, litigation, what is happening, which we are talking about. But I said, to hell, let me remain a member of parliament.
Okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, Honorable, for coming.
And I held the
I
fire.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
There.
Thank you very
Yes. Just say bye to the viewers.
I wish I had more time with you viewers.
You'll come back.
Inshallah. I wish God
That's
can
fine.
give me more time with
much.
you.
Thank you very much.
But don't you worry. The most important thing is life. I'm wrong, as long as I'm there, we shall have time together.
Yeah, dear viewers, thank you so much. And I want to appreciate our dear guests. For you were passionate in your discussion, but I was cheated by time so much. Was not my friend. Time wasn't my friend. And I promise, so long as we're still alive, we'll meet again. And
we need 2 hours.
I'll bring this panel.
We need 2 hours.
You tell me I'll bring this panel again. just trust me, dear viewers, we'll bring this panel again to tell us about why local economic development has not made a way out. God bless you until we meet again. Thank you for staying with us on Smart 24 TV.